All right, guys, back with another video. So, got a couple things to show you here. Pulling some interesting polling information, and then also a video from Parliament during question period. So, before we do get into this, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help grow the channel. And I really, really appreciate every single one of you who do that. Now, from Polling Canada, he just puts a quote here. It says, "Canada is in decline." I think that's a pretty obvious statement, but it's interesting because when you give that statement, 56% of Canadians agree, 25% are neutral, and only 19% of Canadians disagree. So less than 1 in 5 Canadians think that Canada is doing well. Everyone else either thinks that we're on a decline, or they're like, they're just doing okay. But even then, a majority of people, 56%, think the country's in decline. And yet, a lot of these people voted Liberal. The country's in decline. And who's caused that the past 10 years? Oh, the Liberal Party. Okay, there's an election coming up again. Who should we vote for? Oh, I got it. You want some change? Let's vote for the Liberal Party. Okay, I guess that makes sense, because if you really think that Mark Carney's truly different and that the person is in charge of the party and not the other way around, which I believe, then maybe you would think that. But that being said, Mark Carney's been Prime Minister since March. Not much has changed, has it? So there's a Substack link here. It's just a little bit of information, as if I scroll down, it wants me to start paying for it, and I'm not doing that. So it just says, new polling suggests Canadians are pessimistic about the state of the nation, with many viewing the country as being in decline. How might Canada reverse this trend? One possible solution, according to many Canadians, is to take the nation back from the rich and powerful. You mean like people who work for big banking companies and, people who, won't release their assets? You don't want them in power, right? The irony of that, right? They voted in a guy who's rich, also old and white, which the left hates so much. And they say, well, we want the country back from rich people. Let's vote one of them in. Let's vote in a globalist banker. They'll take Canada back for us. And that's what some people actually think. It's truly unbelievable. I just wanted to show you that because I think it's hilarious. I think it's true. I think Canada is definitely in decline, but they chose the wrong guy to lead us out of it. But then again, maybe Mark Carney will pull off a miracle and prove me wrong. I couldn't even say that with a straight face, by the way, but I've been wrong before. So now we have something from Table Salt here. This is Mark Carney laughs about the fact that the ministers he promoted wasted $64 million on a Arrive scam. Thinks the election wipes their record clean. Mark Strahl explodes on him. All right, it's an interesting term. Let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it after, like usual.
Will confirm what we've been saying about the fraudsters behind the Arrive scam app and the failure of this Liberal government to protect taxpayers. GC Strategies was an IT firm that didn't do IT, didn't follow procurement rules, didn't provide value for money, didn't have valid security clearances. What they do have is 64 million ill-gotten tax dollars in the bank, and this Liberal government let it all happen. When so many Canadians are struggling to make ends meet, why is this government making no effort to get those wasted tax dollars back? Right on.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to follow details, including important details such as there was just an election. Canada's new government was elected to focus on getting best value for Canadian taxpayer dollars and building the strongest economy in the G7.
That's ridiculous. That's not why Canadians voted for you, and you know it. And that's why you were fear-mongering, Trump this, Trump that, 51st state this. We'll never bend the knee to Trump, and Pierre Poilievre will. And then as soon as Mark Carney wins, he goes to meet Trump, and what does he do? Stares at the floor while Trump blatantly insults Chrystia Freeland, one of his top ministers. Takes pictures of him smiling with Trump, putting his thumbs up instead of his elbows. That's why Mark Carney won. With saying that, with the fear-mongering and the help of the media, that's why he won.
That's exactly what we're doing. We're focused on
The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Mr. Speaker, they're not holding GC Strategies accountable. They're letting them keep the cash. The Auditor General confirmed that current Liberal ministers failed Canadians in this matter. They failed to protect tax dollars. They failed to check the qualifications of those doing the work. In half the contracts, they failed to even verify that work was done. Unbelievably, the Trudeau ministers responsible for Arrive Scam got promoted and have now been put in charge of critical Canada-US foreign affairs and jobs files. Why did the Prime Minister reward these failed Trudeau Liberals instead of holding them accountable for their incompetence?
That's a great point. And that's the other thing too, right? Mark Carney said, well, we won the election. Yeah, you didn't have your cabinet. He had some temporary cabinet, but a lot of people, including myself, thought that if they do win the election, there's going to be a big change in the cabinet selections. And there were some, but there's a lot of familiar faces there. And that's what people are wondering about. Like, why did you pick Melanie Jolie, Chrystia Freeland, Anita Anand, Sean Fraser, etc., etc.? They're all back. So those ministers, those members of parliament, those cabinet ministers were rewarded for failing. And Pierre Poilievre said it best. There's no one better at failing up than him and some of the other Liberals. And that's what they're doing. But Mark Carney also has a point. Canada did vote for it. And I keep saying this, and I have a feeling I'm going to say it a few more times, that Canada's going to regret doing that. But we'll have to see.
Mr. Speaker, this government, Canada's new government, is focused on best value for taxpayers' dollars. Yes. We are running a process to review our program. We are running a process to focus on results for Canadians, not dollars in. We are running a process to integrate technology. We are running a process to get best value for the largest increase in defence spending in precedent, making up for the failures of the members opposite.
Failures of the members opposite? You mean failure of the old government? I love how he says failures of the members opposite. Yeah, it was totally not Justin Trudeau who wouldn't spend any on our military. Okay. All right, Mark. But then again, you can't blame Trudeau because guess who was Trudeau's advisor? It's just wild. But again, I can't wait until Pierre Poilievre gets back in office. There's going to be so many people who are going to be so upset. And the reason they're upset is not because they think he's a loser or that because, oh, he can't win, what's he trying for? They'll say things like that. But the reason they're mad that he's going to come back is because they're scared of him. They know deep down that the Conservatives, even after the whole Trump thing and the media smearing and all the crap that Pierre had to deal with, he still got 41% of the vote. The NDP is not going to collapse next time, probably. Actually, I can say that with confidence because whoever their next leader is going to be more competent than Jagmeet Singh. My dead cat is more competent than Jagmeet Singh, for crying out loud. They can't possibly do any worse. Those votes are going to come from the Liberals. Ridings will switch back over to the NDP. And then all of a sudden, you're dealt with the Liberal Party maybe getting 30-something% of the vote. And if the Conservatives just hold their base, and I know there's polls coming out saying that he's lost some support. Well, he's not in Parliament right now. And there's also a lot of people who are just really upset about the results still, and they're not paying attention. Their idea right now is, I don't care about Canada. They're thinking about leaving, or if they're in Alberta, they want to separate, or whatever the case is. Most people who think that way are supporting Pierre Poilievre. That's why they're upset. They're not upset that the Liberals won because they voted for it. They're upset because they're Conservatives and they feel like they never get their way. That being said, once Mark Carney starts to mess up and we start seeing polls come around to the Conservative side, a lot of people are going to come back. Once they realize that separation idea that a lot of them have isn't so plain and simple as some of them think, they might realize that, hey, the best thing we can do is go back to the Conservatives. But a lot of people are discouraged right now on the Conservative side, and I understand that. But either way, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna stop this video now. But let me know what you think about the 56% of Canadians agreeing with the fact that Canada's in decline. And what do you think about Conservative MP Mark Strahl? I've never covered him before, but I thought he did a really good job there. But let me know what you think. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll be back shortly with a new video.